Well, this week we launch our Bible reading program for 2021, and we're beginning in Luke chapter 1, since we're going to be reading Luke and Acts this year. So let us give you a couple of things to wrap your mind around as you're reading through Luke chapter 1. I guess we should sort of structure the text a little bit. Two major pieces of the text.
Right.
First, in verses 1 through 4, we have the introduction.
Right. Uniquely among the Gospels, Luke is emphatic about why he wrote. And I think for me, David, the two ideas that I get most out of this for our purposes this week are the fact that he uses the word eyewitnesses. Luke wants to make very clear this is not a fairy tale or a legend or a myth. He has talked to people who saw these things with their own eyes. And the other word that catches my eye in the introduction, David, is that you may know the certainty of what you have been taught. Again, because this is not a religion that's a moral self-help philosophy. This is history. God became flesh and dwelt among us.
So I thought those were important grabs in the first four verses.
Right.
I marked down things like compile an account,
yes,
and what was accomplished among us, handed down, as you said, from those who were eyewitnesses. I think all of those are great words to grab as you go through this first section, and it really helps us understand not just what Luke is about to do, but how carefully he does it as well. Yeah. All right, the next segment is a big one, verses 5 through 80, where basically we have two births, right? Or at least the beginnings of what will be two births.
Right.
And then we have two big speeches. So, next section.
So the births are important because of the way they're portrayed. They're portrayed in deeply Old Testament fulfilling ways. First of all, in the births, you have both with Elizabeth and Mary, you have the barren woman idea that's so important, especially back in the book of Genesis, where every patriarchal wife was barren.
Especially Sarah.
Starting with Sarah most significantly, but that's always the motif. And of course, Hannah famously is barren, and comes Samuel. And so both of them are barren. Elizabeth, because she's literally barren and old. Mary's barren in a different way. She's a virgin. She's not sexually active. She's not married. This is not fornication. So virgins don't have children. Two barren women. And so Elizabeth fits the Old Testament motif, but Mary with the twist of being barren because she's a virgin. She's an unmarried, sexually inactive young woman. And yet she has a child. The twist here, that in one sense, on one level, the Abrahamic covenant began with a barren woman. The Abrahamic covenant comes to its climax, all nations blessed through a barren woman, so to speak.
So let's jump ahead a little bit and talk about connections.
Yes.
I think that is an important connection to make when you're studying Luke chapter 1, is to see the connections back to Abraham.
Absolutely.
And back to the promises. We talked about two births and two speeches.
Yes.
Especially in the speeches, I think we see that connection back to Abraham. And the promises are now reaching sort of their climactic moment as we get into the Gospels.
That's right. And the other twist here is the reversal of Eden. The reversal of Eden, where Satan, you remember Genesis chapter 3, especially verse 15, when Satan had tempted Eve, not Adam, Eve, she ate the forbidden fruit. And so God, in his judgment, Genesis 3, pronounces judgment on the serpent through the seed of, not man, the seed of woman. And here we begin to see the reversal of Eden, because it's not through a normal childbearing process this happens. It's God intervening directly with a woman. And so the undoing of Eden here, and the curse of sin, where in Eden a woman was made from man originally, and that's where the first woman comes from. Now the last man, the second Adam, comes from a woman without a man. The reversal again of Eden, as God makes a seed of woman to crush the serpent's head.
So let's remind everybody that if you have any questions about the text, we want to hear about those. I don't think Luke 1 has a lot of challenging segments in it, but remember, as we go through the reading, Jeff and I are going to devote the last Sunday night question and answer session to answering questions about Luke and Acts. So as we read along through the month of January, if you have some questions about Luke 1, 2, 3, or 4, we want you to submit those to us so that we can devote some time to answering those. Any last words about Luke 1?
No, I think there's more we need to talk about. We have time, so keep reading.
Yeah, keep reading. Join in. Have questions, have challenges. Let's talk about them. Let's not just read the Word. Let's read the Word. Make sure we understand. Have a great week.